Here in New York at our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio is Herman Chan to give us a snapshot of what we've been hearing from the banks. And we're not talking about the big banks because we know that they blew away all estimates thanks to investment banking, thanks to trading in equities and fixed income currencies and commodities. But for those regional banks and how they're doing, they're much more a reflection of demand for loans and whether people and companies are able to pay back their loans. What are we hearing? What's the story so far in the early days of regional bank earnings?
That's right, Scarlett. The regional banks are more a reflection of what's going on Main Street than Wall Street. We are seeing some pickup in lending, which is great to see. We're seeing margins fairly solid, and unlike what Jamie Dimon said yesterday about seeing cockroaches, we're not seeing any cockroaches on regional banks' balance sheets, which is also really constructive. The credit quality is really solid, and we're not seeing the, higher loan losses. That being said, there's been a lot of volatility in some of the names today, with First Horizon down 10% last time I checked, and PNC down 4%. So that's for First Horizon in particular, that really reflects their comments on the call saying that they're actually a buyer of banks and not a seller. The market seemed to think they would be one of the potential takeout candidates as M&A is starting to pick up.
So the market is going to decide who the buyers and sellers are, I would think here. Is there a sense of scale where these companies, or some of these banks like a PNC, like what's your bank up in Buffalo?
M&T.
M&T.
Yeah.
Is there a sense of where they should be in size if they're not already there?
Yeah. PNC in particular has talked about having aspirations to manage $1 trillion balance sheet. So that's, on par.
Is that a regional bank anymore?
You would say that's not. So they want to graduate to be a much bigger bank, basically doubling their size. So they've talked about they're already a coast-to-coast operator now in California and now in Texas. And traditionally, they have a more mid-Atlantic and Midwest footprint. So that really really suggests consolidation, more M&A in the future.
So as these regional banks have aspirations of becoming super regional banks and perhaps even bigger than that, does that mean that they inevitably will need to build out their investment bank as well and their trading operations, and they'll start to look like smaller versions of the big banks that we currently have?
Yeah, some of the super regionals are a bit like that now. Banks like PNC, banks like Citizens, banks like Fifth Third and KeyCorp do have some growing investment banking platforms, but on the other hand, they're not banking the largest corporates that are doing a lot of the activity, and so they're doing capital markets for their middle market clients, which inevitably isn't going to be as profitable. So as they grow bigger, the hope is that they will bank larger corporations and then have that opportunity to cross-sell the capital markets capabilities.
All right, 30 seconds. If I want to build a real estate property, or I want to buy a business, and I go to my local bank, is he going to make, or she going to make me a loan?
Yeah, I think so. The market's open now, as long as you have the liquidity. That there's banks are open for business. They're not shy about lending. So if that's what you want to do, feel free to call your local banker.
You got to pass the credit check first, Paul.
I know. That could be a little dicey. I'm pretty good. I'm not pretty good at my credit, I think. Herman Chan,
just flash them your money clip.
Yes, cash. When you walk out the door, bring your money with you. Herman Chan, senior analyst. He covers all the regional banks, and often in the news there. Lots going on in the regional bank business, but again, as Herman mentioned, it's Main Street, not Wall Street here, so it gives you a good sense of kind of how small companies, small mid-sized companies, which are the backbone of this economy, and individuals are doing on the banking side. Appreciate that.